if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Now this is taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verse number 15. This is counsel to us of how to deal with a situation as described here. A brother has trespassed against thee. In other words, they've done something harmful, hurtful. They've offended you. So, how do you deal with it? And this is what Jesus is saying. He says, you go to that brother or that sister, and you just sit them down, just the two of you. Don't have plans to embarrass them in front of anybody else. It's just between the two of you. And you lay it out. And it says, if thy brother hears you and says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I had offended you in such a way. Would you please forgive me? Thank God, hallelujah, we've conquered the world. But you know and I know that's usually not the way it goes. I hate to have to say that. That sounds so negative. But I've lived a long time now, and I've experienced this on many, many occasions. And I'm the type of person that I'd rather not. I'd rather not confront somebody about anything. And and unfortunately, I'm one who seems to internalize a lot of things. And I don't recommend that because it's not healthy. But that's what I do. But if it comes to the situation, this just cannot stand. This just cannot continue the way it is. Something's got to be done. And so you take the counsel that Jesus has given. You take your brother aside or your sister and you say, hey, look, we need to talk this out because this is a problem. And they don't receive it. Then, this is what Jesus says next, verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 or more. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established. Now you're at the point to where you're going to have to bring somebody else involved in this situation. Some other ears to hear what's being said so it won't be misunderstood and misconstrued. You've got a witness. This is what I said. This is what I did in my attempt to bring resolution to a situation that has become troubling. And we want to find peace in the midst of the situation. So, now we have witnesses involved in this. But, he said, if he shall neglect to hear them, now we're going to take it to a higher case. We're going to take it to the whole church family. We're going to take it before the church. And we're going to let the church decide about these things. And we've got to find peace. Think about this in the context of the book of 1 Corinthians. The situation they dealt with there, where there was fornication and adultery taking place in the leadership of the church. And the Apostle Paul rebuked them and says, you need to deal with this. And oftentimes, there are very serious situations that has to be dealt with, and Jesus has given us the formula. Pastor Jack King with the Gospel on the radio broadcast.